All right. It is Sunday, January 7th. This is Bears Nation Podcast. And if you're new here, it's myself, Jake Hassan, as I'm about to put out the tweet letting people know that we're here. It is myself, Jake Hassan, joined as always by the wonderful Kevin Lapka, who did not meet me at a bar today, which was annoying. But, whatever. We'll move on from that. Even though he said he would. But, it's week 18. And the Bears had an opportunity, if you will, to knock the rival Packers out of the playoffs in Lambeau Field in what some would say is an opportunity for Justin Fields to save his Chicago career, and some would say a chance to turn the franchise. A chance for you to go 8-9 on the season, which would be a little disappointing, but not altogether a failure. And you go in and you score 9 points.
9 points, baby.
Let me be very clear about something. These 9 points were not a touchdown and a safety. It was not a touchdown and
there's no other iteration.
There's no
missed extra point in a field
goal. There were three field goals for the Chicago Bears tonight, and the biggest game of the year, your Super Bowl, some would say. Mm-hmm. And you just blew it. You just blew it, and you're here, and you get the Packers into the playoffs. You play absolutely pathetic game, all things considered. Pathetic play calling, pathetic performance. And once again, the Packers make you their bitch. And it's hard to really put it in any other way other than that, because you just get bitched. And really, Kevin, as I adjust here, really, it's just that you weren't ready. You just lose. And I think it was evident.
Wow.
From the beginning, because you go not in game time, in real time, you go 1 hour, 60 minutes. I don't know what the conversion in seconds is. I'm not going to do that right now. An hour without Justin Fields throwing a pass. Some of that was the Packers and their game plan, and they ran the ball a lot. They controlled the clock. Credit to them for that. But you tried all this ticky-tacky bullshit. You tried all these, fakes and sweeps and and it got you nothing. It got you 3 field goals, to be specific. And you just lose. And you had a chance to win it at the end of the game. And once again, to use a Kevin Lapka term of phrase, you took the ball out of your best player's hands. When you had a chance to win the game and a chance to take the lead every single time, you took the ball out of Justin Fields' hands.
Yep.
Luke Getsy consistently called draws, called sweeps, called running plays that did not allow Justin Fields a chance, an opportunity to win you the football game.
Yep.
And it's just, as Jack McCoy is about to walk in here, because I hear the lock turning. Not important. Nobody really cares about that. But my roommate, Jack, shout out to him. You just lose. And I think what we saw tonight was that Justin Fields was thrown under the bus. Justin Fields was shipped out to sea. Hello to Jack McCoy as he enters the chat. Anything that you would like to say about this game?
The circle of suck is going to continue.
Correct. The circle of suck is going to continue. Is what the honorable Jack McCoy just said. My roommate, everybody. Thank you for participating in this disaster of a show. Offensive line was terrible. Play calling was terrible, but Justin Fields is going to be shipped out to sea and made a scapegoat. And this is something that I said in the middle of the season. And I thought that it might change as things got better. But the way that the Chicago Bears approached today's game made me feel that the decision was made possibly weeks ago that Justin Fields was not going to be a part of this team anymore. And that Justin Fields was not going to be the quarterback of this team entering 2024-2025 season. And everything that you saw today basically confirmed that. And not only that, the defense that we have seen for the past 6 weeks or so was not present whatsoever. there was soft coverage. The Green Bay receivers, Jordan Love had whatever he wanted, especially over the middle of the field. And it made me believe that once Matt Eberflus got the confirmation that his job was safe, it was okay. Improve the draft position, because now you're Chicago Bears. You have 2 top 10 picks.
But he's not safe. He's not safe.
He's safe. He's
not safe. He's not safe, Jake.
Because,
Kevin,
what did we talk about last week? You didn't get you lost a 1-score game, basically.
Doesn't matter. You know what these games mean to this organization. And you know what that loss means to the organization. And it was incompetent. It is unjustifiable. We've been saying it all year long. Unjustifiable. And you're there again. You're at that same exact word. You cannot walk in to Hallis Hall tomorrow at 6 a.m. when they're doing their exit interviews, and then we're making the decision, right? It's Black Monday for a reason. If he's going to get fired, it'd probably be tomorrow. It most likely. They're not walking in there looking at what happened today and saying, this is acceptable. We can do this again. It's just not acceptable. You can't do it. He's gone. It's an organizational failure.
You think
by everybody on that staff. I think he's fired tomorrow. And look, and I know there's a lot of people who say, well, you can't allow one game to change your mind. You can. When it's this type of game, when it's that type of performance against that team, you can 100% let it change your mind, and you can 100% let it dictate your thinking. So he's gone. He's done. Unacceptable performance. I understand you didn't have to play for anything, right? As far as your own playoff hopes. But you had nothing to lose in that game. Nothing to lose. And you passed the ball 6 times in the first half, or 9 times in the first half. You don't pass the ball for an hour as Jake pours a glass of whiskey. Can I have one? Because that's what I need. It's unacceptable. It's organizational failure. It's failure of the quarterback. I'd have to go out to my fridge and get one. But it's unjustifiable, Jake. And he won't be the head coach of the Chicago Bears in the morning. He just won't. He won't. 7 a.m. Set your alarms. Ian Rappaport. The tweets coming through. The Chicago Bears have fired Matt Eberflus. It has to happen.
I hate to tell you this, Kevin, but I'll book you on that money if you want. I'll take that money right now.
I mean, what are the odds on it? Like, why is he not getting fired? What? Jake,
I would say the odds that Matt Eberflus does not get fired are minus 210. He doesn't get fired.
Minus 210.
Because if we didn't get the report last weekend from Ian Rappaport that Matt Eberflus's job is secure, it's safe, blah, blah, whatever terminology you want to use. If we didn't get that, I would say it's way more likely. But the fact that happened in week 17 before this game even happened makes me think that he's safe, and he knows it. And the game plan and the play calling today reflect that. And so that's why I'm saying the decision was made possibly weeks ago that Justin Fields was going to be the scapegoat here.
Yeah.
And I see in the chat that people are saying Harbaugh. If you think that Jim Harbaugh isn't getting a lifetime contract from Michigan, regardless of the outcome,
I don't know if he takes it, Jake. I don't know if he takes it. He might have that itch to go back to the NFL. You don't know. But at this point, everyone's an upgrade over Eberflus.
Sure. However, all right, let's put it this way. The report came out today that Bill Belichick is no longer going to be the coach of the New England Patriots. Let's play the guessing game and assume that he goes to Los Angeles to be the Chargers head coach and work with Justin Herbert, which would be a great situation, by the way. The Chargers are a team that is ready to win now. This is not a Chargers podcast. Mario Herron can take that over. But so that leaves let's assume Arthur Smith gets fired after today's debacle against the Saints. Let's assume that Ron Rivera gets fired in Washington.
Correct.
What's more enticing? And I know what you're going to say. You're going to say that the Bears are a charter franchise and that this is still a job that people want to come lead to success.
Exactly. But they have the first overall pick, Jake. For Christ's sake.
So in that instance, then, if that happens, doesn't that mean that Justin Fields is gone? So let me ask you this: you are Justin Fields defender number 1. Do you think he's gone?
I mean, is it unfair to say I have to wait to see what happens with the coach? Is that unfair? And I think
he's gone regardless.
I don't think he's gone. And I think it depends on the coach that you hire, because if you do hire a Jim Harbaugh, you're hiring the perfect coach to work with the players. Did I say Jim Harbaugh? Did I say Jim Harbaugh? Okay, sorry. If you hire Jim Harbaugh, you are hiring the perfect coach to work with Justin Fields. You're hiring a veteran coach who's been around the situation, who has won things in the NFL with a quarterback similar to Justin Fields. He got to the Super Bowl with Colin Kaepernick, sort of a similar type player with similar type skill sets. Jim Harbaugh doesn't want to waste any time with rookies, right? He's going to leave Michigan, a team that's, could win more national championships up in the future here. If he's going to leave the NFL for that, he doesn't want to go through a rebuild-esque situation. And it's not a rebuild. If they draft a quarterback, the Bears could be ready to win with Caleb Williams, but you have to deal with everything that comes with a rookie, with a first overall pick rookie who is ambiguous. You don't know what he's like off the field. You don't know how he's going to handle the pressure of being the Chicago Bears quarterback and being in the NFL. If I'm Jim Harbaugh, I don't know if I'd want to deal with that. So if they hire somebody like him, then yes, I think Field stays. But if they go the Ben Johnson route, if they fire Eberflus and they hire Ben Johnson, there's no chance Justin Fields returns if that's the route that they take. I still think, obviously, he should be here because I don't know how you watch that game, Jake. And I tweeted this, and it's getting a little bit of backlash. I don't know if they win that game with Patrick Mahomes. Jake, I'm completely honest. The way that game plan was designed, I don't know if they win that game with Patrick Mahomes, and I don't think they win the game if the quarterbacks are flipped. Like, I think the score is probably the same if the quarterbacks are flipped. I mean, Jordan Love played a great game. We can give him his credit for sure. Guys were wide open. Jimmy Heath is wide open. Jalen Reed's wide open. Everybody's wide open. He made good throws, but there was nothing special from Jordan Love today. He was merely a game manager today, and that's in a 17-point offensive performance.
Right. Aaron Jones killed you once again.
Right. I don't understand how the takeaway from that game is the Bears are better in that game with a different quarterback. The takeaway for me is the offensive line let you down. You need more offensive linemen. The play caller let you down. You need a new play caller. And beyond DJ Moore, there's no receivers there for him to throw to. And sure, Jordan Love's throwing to 5th and 6th round rookies. But Dontavian Wicks might be good. Jalen Reed might actually be good. And they actually have a play caller who can get those guys open.
I will say that, right? Jalen Reed is good.
Yes.
That guy is good. He's
a good player. Look. And we're going to do this all day. We're going to do this all off season. We're going to do it for 4 months. And I'm sorry we're going to do it. But it's mental gymnastics. And when you watch that game, I just don't know how. I do not know how you watch that game and think the Chicago Bears are a better team in that game with Caleb Williams. I don't get it. And I'll throw around Caleb Williams highlight tape. What's Caleb Williams highlight tape? Running around. He's not a pure pocket passer. He's a benefactor of the Lincoln Riley system. I just look, and again, if Caleb Williams gets drafted here, we're all in on him. We're going to love him. But from what we know about the loss today, they're not a better team with a different quarterback. Patrick Mahomes, Caleb Williams alike. It doesn't matter. That's not the takeaway from today, and it's frustrating as hell. This is like, I mean, it doesn't get any worse. It doesn't get any worse. It really doesn't.
I will be
good point, Chris.
I will be very surprised if Matt Eberflus is fired tomorrow. I will be not surprised. I'm gonna move because the light behind me is pissing me off. I will be very surprised if the report comes out tomorrow that Matt Eberflus is fired and that like Justin Fields immediately his 5th-year option isn't declined. I think that the organization has made a choice already that they're sticking with Eberflus. Fields is going to be made the scapegoat. And they're going to use that number 1 overall pick. I think that context matters as far as the report about Eberflus last week, the game calling today, and they'll say, "Oh no, we didn't change anything. This was the plan. We thought this could work." They'll say that, but everything about the way the defense was called, everything the way about the offense was called, leads me to believe that Justin Fields is being expedited from the Chicago Bears. And that they're making this into and again, Kevin, I'm not saying this is. I've said this for weeks.
I agree with you.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I think they've made their decision, and I think that it's okay. Here, like, what did we say last week, Kevin? That if Justin Fields went out and threw for 300 yards or 250 plus yards, that then you would have your guy. The play calling today, screens on 3rd and 22.
Unbelievable.
Let that sit. Like, I'm gonna say it again, and let's all just be in silence for a second.
Yeah.
Screen on 3rd and 22. That is insane. Like, that's not a play call. Like, you've tried that multiple times over the last 2 years, and it's never worked. So why, in a pivotal moment for you in your season, in your quarterback season, do you think it's going to work then? Especially the way that your offensive line has been crumbling and that you have these injuries, it doesn't make sense. So that leads me to believe that the decision was made possibly weeks ago, if not as late as last week, that Matt Eberflus was assured his job was safe and that a decision was made to lose this game to get in the top 10 of the draft. You already have the number 1 overall pick and move on from there. And that was the game. And maybe it works out. Maybe it works out where you draft.
Don't even play that card. Don't play that
you
card.
You have to. You have. I'm
no,
not
don't
sit here
play
and
the
say
card.
that it's but that's what they did.
No.
So maybe it works out for you. Maybe you draft Caleb Williams and maybe you draft Rome Odunze and maybe things are great.
Nope.
But there's also a huge possibility that you whiff. There's a huge possibility. Like, would anybody be surprised if the Bears draft Drake May over Caleb Williams and it bursts into flames and you just chunk it? I wouldn't. I'm expecting it, to be honest. Would anybody be surprised if the Bears draft down to number 4, that you give you draft down to number 4 with the Cardinals or the Commanders, and that you draft JJ McCarthy and you hire Jim Harbaugh?
Okay, no. That's not happening.
Kevin,
that's not happening.
Consider the Chicago Bears history. Consider what they do. Consider how they do things based on emotions and they do things based on appearance as opposed to football.
But that's a terrible appearance.
No, because they will spin it. We agree on that. We would think that from a football perspective, but the Bears would love, especially if Michigan wins tomorrow. If Michigan wins tomorrow, you know that the Bears and George McCaskey will be frothing at the mouth to have a joint press conference with Jim Harbaugh and the quarterback that he won the national championship with. Tell me I'm wrong.
McCarthy's not a first-round pick, dude. He's not a first-round pick.
Tell me. Okay, so they trade back even farther.
I agree. The Bears are a terrible organization. We know this. They're not that bad. And again, part of the reason why
what have they done that has led you to believe that they're not that bad?
No, they are that bad. But we have
this ownership done to make you believe that they're not that bad to do something that silly.
We have the belief. Drafting Drake May would fit that bill. Drafting JJ McCarthy would be a completely different thing. That is impossible. That's just impossible. But what you're saying essentially about the Justin Fields thing, to go back to what you're talking about with that, about, the play calling and the design and the decision that was made weeks ago, you're essentially saying this. You're saying that the Chicago Bears made their decision 2 weeks ago about the coaching staff returning to the organization and that Justin Fields was going to be gone. So if that's what you're insinuating, then week 18 and the game plan designed around Justin Fields was sabotage. Sabotage. Yeah, that is what you are insinuating, is that they were going to do everything in their power to make Justin Fields the scapegoat, to ensure to not throw the ball a significant number of times, to ensure that he can't do good things in the game, to make their decision harder, or to make the coaching staff look worse, because now you're right. They can spin it and now they can play the game. Now they can play the card and say, hey, Justin Fields was the problem. Caleb Williams will come in and fix everything. And then it's what you tweeted, and it's what Jack said when he came in, because he was spitting. He said, it's the same cycle. A lame duck head coach drafts the quarterback struggles the first year, the lame duck coach gets fired, and then here comes a new head coach who's going to come in and supposedly work with the quarterback, but guess what? The quarterback struggled so much his first year, his future with the organization is in doubt, so then he has to go through the same pressure, and he's going to struggle, and then year 3, you're going to be in the exact same thing. If they draft Caleb Williams, there is no doubt in my mind, we will be sitting here on this podcast, if it even exists at the point, in 2027, saying, is he the guy? Who are the prospects at that point in time? Is Arch Manning around? What are we doing?
Jesus.
That is what's going to happen if you draft Caleb Williams and keep Matt Eberflus as the head coach. I will put it on paper right now. You'll be in the same exact situation. And while that's happening too, while we're at that point in 2027, Justin Fields will be holding the Lombardi Trophy alongside Bijan Robinson in Atlanta for their second straight Super Bowl championship.
That's another. Does anybody believe that the Atlanta Falcons aren't firing Arthur Smith tomorrow and immediately hiring Ben Johnson from the Lions and bringing in Justin Fields?
If they can.
Does anyone think that's not happening?
That's happened. It's happening.
No, it's happening because the Bears they're moving on from Justin Fields. They made that very clear today. They made that abundantly clear.
Well, so here's the case. Here's the case to be made for Justin Fields if you think he's still going to be around, right? And this is, again, like at this point, what Jake and I are doing here is we're trying to figure out what is going through the minds of the organization. That's what we're trying to figure out here. We both agree Justin Fields is a good quarterback and a capable starting quarterback in the NFL who can win you games and win you playoff games. We both agree on that. We've agreed on that for months now, okay?
100%.
But we're trying to figure out what is going through Ryan Poles' head as the offseason approaches, right? That's what we're trying to figure out. And the case to be made for Justin Fields is Ryan Poles is so infuriated by the outcome, and Kevin Warren they did this whole documentary for him, is so infuriated by the play calling and the outcome of today's game that they are actually smart enough to recognize that they did not put Justin Fields in the best situation possible to fix this, to win this game, right? So they recognize that. And if they recognize that, then they should know that you fire the coaching staff, you bring in Marvin Harrison Jr., you sign a center and you sign a right guard with all the money you have in free agency, and you make this team better. They should know that. But the question is, do they know that? Are they the tandem and are they the same old, everyone's on the same page, Chicago Bears that we've done over and over and over again? Or can finally, for once in this organization's history, can someone in charge, can Kevin Warren have the balls, have the kahunas to go into that office and say, what happened on Sunday is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. You're fired, and we're going to build around this kid and understand that the outcome is different if you bring in different players, and the outcome is not different if you draft a quarterback, because that is what we discovered on Sunday. And I don't know if they can do that. I don't know if Kevin will do that, but that is what has to happen. And my confidence level that it will happen is very, 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 very low. And my guy Joe is in the chat. Right. He's spitting. Marvin O-line fixed it. Like, ask yourself this question. Like this is what it comes down to. What fixes the Bears more at this moment? Like, if the Bears were to play a game tomorrow, like say there's a week 19 and the Bears play the Packers tomorrow, who fixes the Bears more? Caleb Williams or Marvin Harrison and say Joe Alt or Olu Fashanu? Are the Bears better tomorrow with Marvin Harrison Jr. and Olu Fashanu or Caleb Williams if they played a game tomorrow? Ask yourself that question and get back to me.
The problem is, as Jack enters the firm again, hello. The problem is the play calling. Like, can you have somebody, a coach or an offensive coordinator, that is going to be committed to winning? You didn't see that today. Are you going to have somebody
winning?
Right.
Put it on a billboard.
Like, can you have somebody that is going to be committed to winning a football game? I don't know that that's the case right now. And let's be honest, like, if you traded down to 3 or 4 and you took Joe Alt 3 or 4, because like I love Marvin Harrison Jr. I think he's a generational player, but the receivers in this draft are very, very strong. Jake, I know that.
Marvin Harrison Jr. is the next Justin Jefferson. Like he will be an 1,000-yard receiver year after year after year after year. No question about it.
I'm just saying in the event that you wanted to take like Joe Alt 3rd or 4th instead, and then take Rome Odunze or Malik Neighbors, 9th. Sure. I could be okay with that. But again, it goes back to, is the coaching staff going to utilize these guys? And as of right now, I don't believe that's the case, especially with Luke Getsy. Matt Eberflus, maybe if Matt Eberflus got that orange bat phone to ring this morning from George McCaskey that said, hey, you're losing this game, buddy. Get ready to learn losing because you need the top 10 pick. And I'm out on Justin Fields. Like, would anybody be surprised that that's what happened?
So you think they threw the game? You think they tanked? You think they threw the game? That's what you're saying?
100%. 100%.
Yeah. I mean, I
don't know how because Kevin, they did just enough to keep it a 1-score game for just long enough to keep Bears fans of us. I was sitting in a bar. I sat there the entire time thinking that they might pull something out of their ass because it was a 1-score game.
He's got something
they traded field goals.
Jake, what's up yours?
Because just shitty tattoos. But anyway, the point being that they did just enough to keep you in that game. And then once it got late enough, they let it slip away. The soft coverages on the defense, the shotgun play, I will give Luke Getsy credit for this. The start in the shotgun and then on the QB sneak, then you do go under center, you get the play, which maybe shouldn't have been a first down anyway. But unrelated, that the offensive play calling, the runs, the not letting Justin Fields throw a pass for an hour of real time, it's ridiculous. So I firmly believe that the Bears, like they did last year, went in with a game plan to throw the game and lose the game to get
Wow.
to secure 2 top 10 picks.
Well, again, don't
And-
say. I don't think the players that's different.
Sure,
Like, the
but
players
play
played their ass
calling was
off.
horrendous.
But the play call, yes, the play calling is indicative of something.
play
But I don't wanna
calling
put
took the players
under
out
bus
of
for
it.
that. Yes,
The play
yes.
calling took the players out of it. And
I
I will
agree.
say the Justin Fields missed throw to Cole Kmet in the end zone, that was a bad throw, but you didn't give him any opportunities to make up for it. That was the one
Nope.
chance you gave him to win you the football game.
And
the
that's
one
a tough throw
chance.
to make. And Cole Kmet probably
Sure.
should have gone in on the route a little bit. And he probably
Maybe.
should make that play, but it's not an expectation. It was a broken
Right.
play anyway. That wasn't even on the design? Wasn't that after Fields rolled out after pressure?
Yeah, he was rolling out. But the point being that I think that the Bears as an organization made the decision to throw this game.
That is and if that's the case, Jake, like if you really think that that's what happened today, that is a significant realization. Like, it is a significant realization that in everybody around the team and the fan base knew what this game meant, right? Like, I wrote in my prediction about the game today where I had the Bears winning, and I don't even regret it because I think they could have won that game if there was actually competence from the coaching staff. Everybody knew that this game means a lot beyond the outcome of a win-loss, right? Because now, Jake, we had weeks to sit with that week 1 loss against Green Bay, right? Which probably, I think that loss is part of the reason they went 0-4. So now you don't play a football game for 7 months. You don't play a football game for 7 to 8 months. You have to sit with this realization that Jordan Love is a good quarterback and the Packers might be better than you for 10 years now. And if you just went out there and you were competent with the play calling and you were competent with your defensive, adjustments, that you wouldn't have to sit with that. You could enter the offseason with momentum thinking, hey, we got over the hump. We're better than them now. It's over. The Bears are better. We're the Kings of the North. We're taking it back. Everything that you preached when you became the GM and then you started with this new regime for the Chicago Bears. And now it's the contrary. You sit with this sick feeling in your stomach for 8 months and this sick realization that no matter what you do, you're not going to be better than that team up north. You're not going to be better than that team with Jordan Love and in the Green Bay Packers. And you're going to have to watch them play a playoff game against the Detroit Lions, 2 NFC North teams facing off. You have to sit with that. And if it was your decision to intentionally lose the game and deal with that for 8 months, then you deserve it. You deserve to sit with that feeling. It's an embarrassment. And it's it's sickening, and I can't believe that we're doing this. And again, what faith do you have that it's going to change even if they do draft the quarterback? And I don't want to be that guy who's playing that card. Like, I don't want to be that guy who say, "Oh, no quarterback's ever going to succeed." Like, I'm not playing that card. But the situation you're in is you're going to draft the quarterback, and you're not going to get better at the areas where you need to get better at. You're going to have a shitty offensive line. You might have the same coaching staff. You're going to have a mediocre wide receiver core outside of DJ Moore. It's the same old story, but you have the opportunity to not make it the same old story if you keep Justin Fields, and that's why it's the kicker for me.
So if you had to put money, let's play this game.
All right.
Let's say
Famously
$50.
not good with putting money on things.
I have been yelling at you about that.
When parlays.
Parlays. What do you think your prediction, your money on what happens tomorrow morning? Let's say it's 7:05 right now Central Time. 14 hours from now, let's say 9 a.m. Monday morning.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think happens?
So I'm going to wake up really early and I'm going to open my phone, and there's going to be a notification from Ian Rappaport or Adam Schefter, whoever you prefer among your NFL insiders, and it's going to say the Chicago Bears have fired Matt Eberflus and have also fired Luke Getsy, and the entire coaching staff is out.
The coaching staff would be gone as a whole.
That's what's going to happen. Look, again, I am not.
You firmly believe that? I firmly believe that.
I firmly believe it because, again, what we didn't talk about is we know this organization, like when you are brought in, we know that when you're brought in to interview with the Chicago Bears, like part of the interview process is about beating the Green Bay Packers. Part of the interview process is about beating that team and handling that team, right? We know this about the McCaskies and about the Chicago Bears. And that is a metric. That is a metric that they look at. And for it to end that way in that style of game, again, I think it's pretty fluid, but the way that game ended and how you performed in that game, it is unacceptable, or at least it should be unacceptable. And I think I'm going to wake up to a notification that they're fired. And they're going to have a press conference with Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren, and they're going to say, we're going to approach this offseason with everything on the table. They're going to use the same old phrase, which is fine in this situation. We're going to shop the first overall pick, and if we get an offer we like, we're going to take it. If not, then we'll trade Justin Fields and we'll draft a quarterback, but we're going to move on with a new head coach, and we're going to go forward. I think it is going to happen, Jake. I just, and maybe it's my bias clouding me because of the way I felt about Matt Eberflus, but I just think with that style of loss, it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable, and I think he's fired. What do you think? If you had to put
Do you
money
think
on
Ryan Poles stays?
Yeah, Ryan Poles is locked in, dude. Ryan Poles is locked in. We know that.
If I had to guess,
Mm-hmm.
as I famously get up earlier than you because I famously am a producer for BetQL Daily, 8 to 11 a.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday, on the Odyssey Network. But if I had to guess, at some point during that is also true as somebody puts in the shade. The coaches are gone, Fields is gone. I think it's a clean house.
I don't
for
necessarily think that's the case.
I don't think it's
Again,
necessarily the case. I think
depends on the
it's the
coach you
most.
hire.
I think it's the most likely scenario.
Probably.
Anyway, if I had to guess, my firm belief is that. See, I don't even have a firm belief. Like, I truly think it could go either way. What I believe is going to happen is that it will be tomorrow, Monday morning, whatever, 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., blah, 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 to choose your, time frame. I think it's going to be Rappaport or Glazer or Schefter or whoever saying that the Bears are keeping their coaching staff and intend to move on from Justin Fields and will explore trades for Justin Fields.
They wouldn't say that.
I think that's what's going to happen.
They would not say that tomorrow.
So, all right,
that diminishes value of the first overall
in the event that everybody stays, then what is there no announcement? Is there nothing said? Do we just move right? There's gonna be the press conference.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you think happens at the press conference then if nobody gets fired?
If nobody gets fired,
somebody's getting thrown under the bus, Kevin. Here's my stance.
Yeah,
somebody's getting thrown under the bus tomorrow.
I don't think so. Though. I don't know.
They're not getting up at that podium and everybody's safe. But
it's not going to be Justin Fields. That would be. They're not going to go up there and say. They're not going to go up there and explicitly say quarterback is the problem.
Right. I agree. They will not do that. That'll be a Twitter report. That'll be that they're not going to. No, I will say that they're not going to get up at the podium. Kevin Warren's not getting up there and saying, "Yeah, this guy stinks. We're going to try and trade him." That's not because if you do that. If you do that, all the value is gone. You tank the value on Justin Fields, even if you're going to try and trade him, because then everybody probably already knows it, but then everybody has it in writing that you're trying to get rid of this guy. Yep. So you can't do that. But I think that if you go up there, okay, I just got to this conclusion on my own. Fields is safe, Eberflus is safe, and Getsy is the scapegoat tomorrow.
And that case, so that's what you believe. That's what you believe. That's what you think is going to happen.
So here's what I think is going to happen.
Ooh, that's a good
tomorrow, 9 to 11 a.m., somewhere in that frame. Kevin Warren and Ryan Poles get up there. Matt Eberflus is right after them.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, we've dismissed Luke Getsy. We're going to do a search for a defensive coordinator and an offensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
We believe in Matt. We believe in his vision for this team. We believe in the culture that he's instilling in this team. I guarantee you, in blood, that the sentence in some form or fashion, we believe in the culture that Matt is instilling in this locker room is going to be said.
Which is relatively warranted and fair, though. Let's be honest about if you're talking about culture, that's fair. The players love playing for him. They're getting lit. You had Club Dub vibes the past couple of games before this one. That's fair. Right. And if you want to hold your hat on that, that's fine. But
they're going to say that Luke Getsy has been dismissed and they're going to do an extensive search for 2 new coordinators.
Which wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Let's be clear.
No, but because the Chicago media is very good at their job. Everybody in that room, whether that be Adam Hogue, David Haw, Kevin Fishbane, Courtney Cronin, whoever, they're going to ask, okay, what about the quarterback?
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to dance around the question. There's a lot to evaluate. We like some of the things that Justin did this year. Mm-hmm. We have to evaluate the team as a whole. We have to consider everything in a big picture spectrum. That it's going to be a lot of word salad to say nothing. and to not say they're
Well-
not going to say there's no way
Well, they
get up
have
there and
to
they
in
say-
that situation. They have to use word salad again because of the trade
Right.
value, right? You diminish
But
it.
they're right, exactly. That's my point. They're not going to say Justin Fields is no longer the quarterback of this team or Justin Fields
Right.
is the quarterback of this team. They're going to hope that the Atlanta Falcons or the Washington Commanders or whoever,
Pittsburgh Steelers.
sure, is calling them and saying, "Hey, we want to give you a 3rd round pick for this guy." So they're not going to get up there and say anything concrete about Justin Fields, but I guarantee you they will get up there and say Matt Eberflus is going to be here, and we're going to do an extensive search for 2 new coordinators.
Now let's be clear though. All right. So like okay, maybe I'm gonna change my tune here. All right. Maybe I am gonna change my tune because the more I do think about it, the more like it is more likely that if you fire the coaches, Fields is gone. Like that is the most likely interpretation of that. But again, if you were to hire a Jim Harbaugh as coach, I don't think that's necessarily the case. But there's only a few coaches that fit that bill of willing to work with Fields and not restarting with like a new offensive guy and a new younger quarterback. So, like, let's make this clear too. So, when you look at a team like the Philadelphia Eagles and you look at a team even like the
Well, they
Chicago
might have to
Bears
chop
in
off the hand of
2018,
their quarterback tonight, but
well, that's not even, I'm not even talking about that. You are so built. You are-
hold on. Somebody in the chat just now, Derrick Henry might be available. Sign him for whatever. How about this? I'd rather be
Check for
shot.
Derrick Henry.
I'd rather be
don't say
shot in the
that.
street like an animal. That's an
What's wrong with
insane
Derrick
thing to
Henry?
say.
Your mic just cut out. Your mic just cut out. I think it's back now. It's back now.
Am I good?
You're good now. Yeah.
If you think that Derrick Henry is fixing this football team, brother,
He's not
seek a
fixing it.
therapist. I know a great one. But
Yeah.
like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, he's not fixing
Derrick
anything.
Henry?
Sign to a 2-year contract. Be your Deontay
So-
Foreman. I don't think the Bears will sign him.
Better idea. Sign Derrick Henry for 0 years and $0.
Yeah, you're probably
Kevin,
better
you
off
would
not
be a
wasting
better
your
running
money.
back than Derrick Henry.
Yeah, you're wasting money on Derrick Henry at this point in his career. Look,
Correct.
here's
He's going to
the
be a
thing.
great New England Patriot next year.
We appreciate the comment, Felton Porter. He will be a great New England Patriot.
Yeah.
Um,
Does anyone think that's not happening
no.
for whoever the head
When
coach
you
is?
have-
Daniels, I don't know.
And this isn't necessarily the represent, like this is unhealthy. What I'm about to say about coaching here, this is unhealthy. But you
'Cause
look at teams like
famously
the
say
Eagles.
a lot of healthy things about the Bears.
Yeah, rarely. You look at the Eagles last year, and I just think this is a perfect example. 2 great coordinators, Shane Steichen, Coach of the Year candidate, unbelievable job in Indianapolis this year. And then you look at Jonathan Gannon, who literally just walked into the link last week and beat the Philadelphia Eagles. And yeah, the Cardinals
Sure
are
did.
5-12. I think they're 5-13 now. But
They
or-
might be good next
5-12,
year.
sorry. But right, they might be good, and they're and they have something building with him. Coordinators make a huge difference. So if you are, if
Look
you-
what happened
if-
with the
if you-
Texans.
Exactly. Bobby Slowick is phenomenal.
It was his
D'Amico Ryans
first
is
years in
great.
OC. His first
year.
years in OC.
So what I'm saying is, if you are going this route of keeping Eberflus and then hiring coordinators, you can be a winning football team in spite of Matt Eberflus, right? You can allow these
Sure.
coordinators to kind of carry you through from a coaching decision, play calling standpoint, right? So, which is okay. Whoever you sign as defensive coordinator, I know Matt Eberflus has been calling the plays, passed over defensive coordinator, and whoever you pick up as offensive coordinator, obviously they'll call the plays. And then Eberflus can be your culture guy, right? He's not, I don't think, the greatest leader and public speaker, but for some reason, the
Well,
players
yeah.
connect with him. For some reason, the players really, really like him. Justin Fields likes him. All the players talk, pretty decent about. They like him. So keep Eberflus for the culture guy and allow the coordinators to be your play callers on each respective side of the ball, and you might have something cooking for next year. And the more I think about it, as we've done this kind of, we never do immediate post-game episodes. We usually let it
been a minute.
marinate for a couple hours, and we do it the following morning. But it was kind of necessary at this moment. We typically will do it after the final game. But as we've gone through this now for the past 30 minutes, I kind of like that route. I kind of like that route of keeping Flus around, keeping Fields around to keep this culture intact, and bringing in different coordinators to build up the football acumen and the play calling aspects of this team. And people asking, okay, well, it's unlikely that you're going to get a good offensive coordinator to come in who wouldn't otherwise be a head coach, right? Like you're not obviously like Bobby Sloak isn't transitioning from the Texans to the Bears. Ben Johnson isn't transitioning from the Lions to the Bears, or from if he's going laterally from offensive coordinator to offensive coordinator. But there's going to be guys out there. You know, there's going to be Eric Bieniemy available. There's going to be other smart football minds, quarterback coaches that you can upgrade with. Remember, Luke Getsy wasn't, you know, an offensive coordinator for a long time. You can find guys who are up and coming football minds, right? Mike McDaniels of the world. These guys are available, and I don't think they're available within your organization. But the more I think about it, the more I like that route, and the more I might change my tune and think that that's going to be what happens. Maybe you're right. Maybe we get that notification from Rappaport at 7 a.m. and the Bears have dismissed Luke Getsy and are going to search for, and they're going to keep the table, everything on the table from the first overall pick and trade standpoint, but they're going to search for an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and move on. And like, let's be honest though, there's examples of that this year with particular teams in the NFL where that's worked out very well. About week 12 of the NFL season, Mike Tomlin was questionably on the hot seat. They fire Matt Canada. I don't know who the new guy is, but he comes in, they start to score a lot of points, and they're in the playoffs.
The
right?
Steelers don't really have a quarterback, though.
But this is what I'm talking about. There is a path to winning if you get a better coordinator and you keep this culture intact, especially given what, you know, Danny said in the chat earlier about how you fracture the locker room if you move on from Justin Fields. We've heard it time and time again. True. And if you want to not mess that up, that is the route to do it. So I'm going to change it. I said it 15 minutes ago. I'm going to change it. I think we get the notification, and you talked. You well done, Jake. You very rarely persuade me, but I've been persuaded by Jake Hassan. I don't know what he did to do it. It was the whiskey that put him over the edge. W in the chat for Jake. Luke Getsy will be fired. They'll retain Matt Eberflus. They'll get up on the podium together, Eberflus and Poles will, and say, 100%. We'll search for a new coordinator, and we'll think about draft stuff. They'll dance around that question. They won't make a decision on Fields yet. That's when it's going to happen. I'm locking that in. I'm locking it in.
I would like to read a statement from a prominent member of the Chicago media, Shane Reardon. Some of you may have heard from him. His text says, I texted him, would you like to make a statement about the Bears? He said, I have made bread, French onion focaccia. It's very good. So do with that what you will. No, I think that's the statement. That's the statement. That's exactly what he said. Oh my God. I think that's what it's going to be. I think it's just that Justin Fields is going to be traded. Whether that's to Washington or Las Vegas or Atlanta or whomever, I think that Justin Fields is not long for Chicago, whether that's right or wrong. I believe that he could be good somewhere else. Maybe it's Seattle, honestly. That could
Jake,
be.
Let me just ask you this, though. Let me just ask you this.
Please
like, is it crossing Ryan Poles' mind that you might have to deal with mediocrity next year and maybe a losing season with a rookie quarterback, regardless of how good Caleb Williams is? It just doesn't happen a lot in history with rookie quarterbacks. And I don't want, like, you guys cannot use CJ Stroud as an example because he is an anomaly the way he's playing right now. You just can't. It's more than likely that Caleb Williams will struggle and be an under 500 team. What portion of Ryan Poles' brain fears the prospect of a year and 2 weeks from now watching Justin Fields with the Atlanta Falcons win the NFC Championship? Like, ask yourself that question. Like, what part of Ryan Poles' mind is fearing that?
Here's my thing. Here's my thing regarding that. If you're an NFL general manager, you can't think like that. You got to have conviction in what you do. You can't be sitting there hemming and hawing. You can't be sitting there like, oh, well, maybe it could work this way. Like, you can't do that. If you're an NFL GM, you got to believe in what you're going to do. You can't be thinking about that. Like, and in the event that you are thinking about that, then you have to make a decision, though. If you're thinking like that, you have to make a decision. If you're thinking, well, Justin Fields could lift an NFC championship with the Atlanta Falcons, then you have to say, all right, then we're keeping him.
Okay.
You can't sit there for more than 5 minutes thinking about that.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that decision's already been made. Like, I think that whether it's right or and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they decided that they want to keep Justin Fields and they lost the game regardless because they just want the better pick. Because there is a part of this. We haven't talked about this. Let's spin it this way.
Okay.
There's a world where the Bears have decided they're keeping everybody and they just lost the game for the better pick.
But no, they but
There's
how
a
do they
world where that's
justify that?
true.
Jake, they have to find a they have to.
Well,
there will be
this is how they
ramifications for
justify
that
it.
game.
The short term sacrifice for the long term gain.
But do they say that? They don't say that. They don't go.
No,
onto the
they'll
podium
no.
and say
They'll
that.
never say that. They'll never ever say that. Somebody will get scapegoated, and the likely scenario is Luke Getsy is scapegoated. But there's a world where Eberflus and Fields both stay, Getsy is scapegoated, and everybody wins.
Yeah.
There's a world where that's the scenario. But
in that scenario, Getsy still gets fired. Is what you're saying?
Yes, correct.
Yes,
100%. Because
again,
no matter
is that
what
the
happens,
world?
somebody has to get fired. No matter, especially after the way
Someone
that
has
today
to
played
get
out,
fired.
somebody
Correct.
has to get fired, and somebody will
Correct.
be fired. Whether that's Matt Eberflus or Luke Getsy or Justin Fields a month from now, somebody's getting fired. So I think there's a world though where they had a meeting where when let me paint you this picture, Kevin.
Paint me the picture.
There's a world where we got the Ian Rappaport tweet last weekend that Matt Eberflus' job was saved. He was likely to be retained. There's a world where Justin Fields was also there and was like, you're sticking around too. We're running it back. This is what's going to happen. We're going to lose next week to get that top 10 pick. And we're going to trade down. We're going to draft Joe Alt at 3. We're going to draft Rome Odunze at 9. We're going to draft more interior linemen in the later rounds. We're going to draft a running back, a tight end, blah, 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 whatever. Pick your position group. Later in the draft, Luke Getsy's gone, and we're bringing you both back, and we're going to try and make the playoffs. There's a world where that is like, am I crazy, or do you think that's possible? I think that's completely possible. Maybe not in such uncertain terms, but I think there's a world where that decision was made.
I can't get it through my head that they would willingly try to lose this game for everything that it means.
Kevin, what about the play calling made you think that they didn't?
I know. And that's why this is hard for me, because it's indicative. Right. It's indicative. But like, but again, if that's the case, then I feel really, really bad about this organization. If that's the way that they feel, these games matter. These games mean something. I don't care about 3 slots in the draft. It probably doesn't mean anything. Picks 10 through freaking 15 are, the 15th best player could be better than the 10th best player. Like, it doesn't matter at that point. What matters more is winning this game for all that it means. You just again, I don't think people understand. Like, if you want to go back into history, you're passing on Justin Jefferson. Like say the Bears had a chance to draft Justin Jefferson, they passed on him. And the Vikings haven't won anything in the playoffs.
To be fair, Justin Jefferson was what, the 22nd pick?
Okay, maybe Marvin Harrison won't be Justin Jefferson, because I honestly do think Justin Jefferson's going to go down as the best wide receiver to ever play the game of football. Like, I think that's going to happen. But Marvin Harrison Jr. is... Yeah, 192, 12 receptions, a touchdown. Unbelievable. But Marvin Harrison Jr. is just as good a prospect. I don't know if he'll be as good as Justin Jefferson in the NFL, but like, I don't know why. I just don't know how you pass on it. I just don't know how you look at it and you willingly lose the game for draft position. And I don't get it. I can't do this. I can't do these mental gymnastics anymore. Just like, you have.
I've been trying to tell you for years, Kevin. I've been trying to tell you for years. This is how the Bears
makes no sense. This team, but again, like, I don't want to keep doing this over and over and over. But the only difference that we believe is there, a reasoning as to why we believe things can be different, is what will Kevin Warren do? Does he have that power to walk in there and make change? And this is a really significant next 24 hours, because based on what happens, tells you what we needed to know about Kevin Warren's role with the team, does it not? If they run that shit back with everybody, assume they don't fire anybody, then Kevin Warren's just there to build a stadium. He ain't there to do nothing else but talk with Arlington Heights and build a stadium. But if things change and people get fired, then I think he's there to do something. And I also don't think that like Ryan Poles is one to succumb to the uppers of the Chicago Bears. I think Ryan Poles is a guy with a lot of conviction who knows what he wants, and he's going to say those things more than often than not. He likes to hold those press conferences, whenever. And he's going to go out there and he's going to do what he needs to do. And he's done that. He traded that first overall pick for the biggest draft haul in NFL history, or the biggest fleece in NFL history. So here's what I would like. I would
Go.
like him. This is what I want. And this is what I've always wanted with this organization. Because there's always felt like there's been a lack of transparency. And this won't happen as far as what they say about the quarterback. But whatever they do tomorrow, be sure about it. Have
Yes.
conviction
Do it
with
with
what your
conviction.
decision is. I don't want you to think about, maybe I don't know. I want you to say, this is the way we're going to do things. This is what's going to happen in 2024. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And we're going to win as many games as we can next year. Have conviction. Go all in with what you are going to decide and be convicting about it. And if you don't, then I'm going to be really damn upset if you dance around these questions and if you find any other way to do it. So that's what I want tomorrow. And this is a really important 24 hours to see how they handle this situation and this unique scenario that they're in and what an offseason it's going to be. I mean, this is going to be a treat.
For context, per our friend Joe Ostrowski on Twitter, Bears win total results since firing Lovie Smith 11 years ago. 2013, under 8.5. 2014, under 8.5. 2015, under 7. 2016, under 7.5. 2017, under 5.5. 2018, over 7.5. 2019, under 9. 2020, under 8.5. 2021, under 7.5. 2022, under 6.5. 2023, under 7.5. 1 for 10.
So what does that tell you? What does that tell you? What so does that mean, Jake, right? Like if you're using that, which is just an embarrassing thing to recognize, I might have to give that a retweet.
Great.
Like if they think they have something
Shout out to
good,
Joe.
are they going to learn their lesson and not fire Eberflus because they think they have something good and not make the same mistake that they did when they had something go with Lovey and a very similar coach, right? Defensive coach, good culture, players love him, players play hard for him, right? Saying like a lot of people making those comparisons between Lovey and Eberflus. Do they learn from that and they see that tweet and they learn from that? Or do they just blow it up and try to do it again? I don't know. I the more we think about those things, the more we talk about those things, if they really think they have momentum and think they have something good, the more I think that he's going to stay and they're going to run it back. And again, that's why I changed my tune and said what I said about Getsy going. Can I read you something real quick here?
Please.
I'm going to read you this. I got an audio message from a former member of this podcast who's a really smart football mind. Sorry, I need a glass of whiskey. A really smart football mind. He says, I don't see what the opportunity that you have to accumulate the picks that you have and the castles that you have to build a team around him, that being Justin Fields. CJ Stroud cannot be used as an example as why you need to draft a rookie quarterback, in my opinion, because CJ Stroud, people undervalue anticipation and cerebral ability as a quarterback, and that's all CJ had on his college tape. He was a cerebral, anticipatory, smart thrower, and admittedly much better than Justin at that stage of his career, and it helped him as a rookie in this league, and that's why he had success. Caleb Williams is nowhere near that level of an anticipatory football passer. He is nowhere near that level of a cerebral player and in a system. In the system that CJ played in, that was much more like Caleb played in a Lincoln Riley system, which is more college style, which is fine. But Caleb was going to develop and be a good QB in this league. I don't get it. This doesn't make any sense. The Bears should not, draft Caleb Williams, essentially. That's what he said, which is a really, really interesting acknowledgement of, again, what we've been saying about how this team doesn't get better immediately with Caleb Williams, most likely. And if the Bears think they have a good thing going and recognize that Caleb Williams isn't a player that changes your team for the better next year, then they're not going to draft him, I think. Who knows how long the McCaskies will be owners of the team? Who knows how long Virginia McCaskey will be alive? She just turned 101. Maybe they want to see winning. Maybe they want to see winning now. And if they think drafting a rookie quarterback is not going to do that, they're not going to do it. I'm trying to find ways to justify them.
Oh my God.
She's 101. It's incredible. Shout out to Virginia, man. That's amazing.
Good. If I make it to 101, I've lived too long. Anyway,
100.
The point being, this tweet from
101.
Kevin Fishbane: for the 6th time in the past 10 seasons, the Bears have finished last place in the NFC North.
6 out of 10.
6 out of the last 10.
We're gonna take the North and never give it back.
Something like that.
And I believe if they won the game, they would have jumped the Packers, or maybe not. I don't know if they would have
I
finished
believe they would have been
second.
in second or third.
Dude,
They would not have been
here's the
last. Let's
thing.
put it that way.
Okay, you want to talk about silver linings of losing the game, right? Like if you want to talk about silver linings, and this might fill
Schedule
your
next year.
this is like you're like yeah, you're a conspiracy
Well,
theorist.
so
That's what you are.
Through Kevin Fishbane's tweet, through this loss, you next year get to play the Commanders
God.
again at
Let's go.
home and the Panthers and the Patriots.
Oh my God. Yeah, we're winning 12 games next year if you just draft Marvin Harrison Jr. Like
Oh
we're
my
at,
God. Here
we're
we
doing
go.
it. We're
Here
doing
we
it.
go.
We're doing it.
The
I
Kevin
don't need 8
Lapka
months. I
last
don't
place
need 8 months.
schedule. Don't
Last
need a
place
new
schedule.
quarterback. Oh my God.
Okay, but it's actually valid this
Also,
time.
well,
There's
let's
actually
go through
reason.
it because you played the AFC West this year. So
Right, who do you play
like,
next year? The AFC South? Oh, get to play the Jags who are mid, play the Colts who are mid, play the Texans who are mid, play the
But
Texans
you might
are mid.
also have to play the AFC East.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That would not be
That's
great.
true. I don't want to play the AFC
Which,
East.
oh my God. You know what's about to
Rodgers,
happen?
Bears, Sunday Night
You know
Football,
what's
week
about-
1.
Week 1, yep. Week 1, Bears, Jets, Rodgers' first game back in Chicago.
Oh my
Rookie
God.
quarterback. Yep.
Well, look it up. Do we play the AFC East next year? Fernando from Orlando's writing a song called "The Bears Still Suck" and with polka music. I love it. If the Bears, because like
disgusting.
I'm still look. If the Bears keep Justin Fields and they spend the money, like I'm holding on to that video that we made a couple months ago, and not a couple months ago. It was like in March about Bears.
Hold on, we have
Jets
an Adam Johns tweet. Matt Eberflus says that he plans to host exit interviews with Bears players tomorrow from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. He and GM Ryan Poles will do them together. They will be in 10-minute blocks. Eberflus said he expects to meet with ownership later in the week, but has not been scheduled yet. That is from the Athletics' Adam Johns.
Eberflus is scheduled to meet with who later in the week?
Ownership.
Later in the week?
Later in the week.
I think we have everything we need to know. I think I'm right. I think we're right. Actually, I think we're right. I think you're gonna see Luke Getsy fired tomorrow morning. Matt Eberflus will be back, and conducting these exit interviews.
The Bears will. It looks like the Bears will play the NFC West next week or next year.
Next year. That's
based on
ideal.
Based on some Seahawks tweets.
That would make sense. Chris Emma, Matt Eberflus is under the impression he may not know of his status as Bears head coach until midweek. The team will hold exit interviews, same thing like you said, with players tomorrow at Hallis Hall. All right, so we're all wrong. We're not going to know until like fucking. We're not going to know until after the national championship.
That tells you what you need to know.
Does it though?
Is back.
I don't know, dude. I don't know,
because that doesn't mean that the coordinators can't get fired tomorrow. If what we think is going to happen with the coordinators, I mean coordinator, because you don't have a defensive coordinator. Like we both think that they're not going to go up there and throw Fields under the bus because they want to keep the trade value high or as high as they can.
Yeah.
That basically validates everything that we know.
Can everyone in the chat tell us what you guys think they're going to do real quick before we head out of here? I want to see what the people in the chat are feeling like as far as what the Bears are going to do.
I think there's a lot of split. I think
there's a lot of split. I mean, the fan base is pretty split on this regardless. Like if you put out a poll, it's typically, well, it's 50-50 about like, about Justin Fields, but I think it's like 80-20 about Eberflus, about 80% wanting him to go.
Sure.
That is a fascinating report from Adam Johns, and we're gonna have to dive into this on our. Maybe we'll just like wait to do an episode until we know exactly until things are done. But like again, the exit, and let me say this too, I would not be surprised if the exit interviews consist of a question about Justin Fields. I would not.
They will. No, almost exclusively.
I don't know about exclusively, but there will be a question about Justin Fields' leadership, Justin Fields, who if you want him to be the quarterback next year, those like they won't say that explicitly, but there will be questions about these players want Justin Fields back. But and this was said in the chat earlier, like Jake, everyone loves Justin Fields. So if you're asking that question and you're accumulating responses and trying to figure out what people want and make your decision off of what your players want, and that's the purpose of these exit interviews, then you're not drafting Caleb Williams. If that's what you're doing, if that's what you're asking, am I wrong?
I think that at a certain point, the business aspect of like what goes on, let's say, becomes more prevalent than like what the players want. Because I was reading this on The Athletic via Kevin Fishbane earlier this week. Like, would you have to re-win the locker room? Yes, 100%. But if ownership thinks that's the best path forward, they're going to do it regardless. Like these players are under contract. The papers are signed. It doesn't matter like what the players want. Like if the Bears think that Caleb Williams could come in and win games, that's going to win over the locker room. Winning fixes everything, famously. So it kind of comes down to that.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. It's a business, and they're not going to make that decision based off what the players say, but it should have influence. And I think it will have influence because if you're trying to win, like, again, we have to understand that kind of based off of what the Bears have done contractually, like the window, we said this for a while, the window's supposed to open next year, right?
Sure.
That's when the window's supposed to open. And NFL windows do not last long. They do not last long for the most part. They're typically 3 to 4 years. The Eagles might have had a 1-year window. Like their window might be closing if they get knocked out of the playoffs early, and a lot of their guys are older on expiring contracts. Like you can make that argument. Your mic went out again. So
based on Jalen Hurts' finger, yeah,
right. Based on Jalen Hurts' finger. So like Jason Kelce might retire, right? Like NFL windows are not long. So again, it's more logic about the quarterback situation. If that's the case and the window's open for 3 years after starting next year, you're putting so much pressure on the quarterback to win within the first 3 years if he's a rookie. And it just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen in the history of the NFL. It doesn't. You do not see it. Rarely. The greats do it. Patrick Mahomes does that. I know people want to compare Caleb Williams to Patrick Mahomes, but that's just really, really naive and ignorant to do that. And it's really stupid to compare him to Patrick Mahomes. For Caleb's sake as well. You just like, don't put that pressure on the kid. But I just think because of that, with all these players on contract, you absolutely have to roll with it right now. And you're not winning anything most likely in the next 3 years if you draft a quarterback. It's just likely not going to happen. I'm sorry. It's just not. And again, like if they do, like I hope they do it. If when Caleb Williams gets drafted to this team, like I'm all in on him, and I wouldn't, can't wait for him if that's the case, right? But if I'm looking at it logically right now, it just doesn't seem like the smartest
if he comes
decision.
in, would you do a duct tape 3 on your Fields jersey?
No, I wouldn't do that. That's disrespectful. I definitely would not do that.
You buy a new
That's
jersey?
way too disrespectful. I would just buy a new jersey. I probably wouldn't buy. I'd probably buy a Marvin Harrison Jr. jersey. See, I want that jersey. That's why I want.
Okay, we get it. Ohio State, you went there. Boo, boo. This
Or
also
he's
this,
just really
this
good
screen
and I
grab
want
of this
really good
podcast right now
players.
is like the perfect encapsulation of this podcast right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna screenshot this right now. Actually,
Also a
dude
quote
dude is laying down right now.
I am very horizontal right now. A quote from our friend Samantha Jones. All I have to say is you aren't winning a Super Bowl with a head coach who has a hairline that looks like Magneto's helmet.
Wow. That's
also coming from a Patriots fan, so take that with what you will.
Okay. Look,
that's a good way to cap things off.
I mean, it's so valid. I can tell you this.
No God.
This story and this offseason, by far the most fascinating offseason in NFL history. Like I texted you this. I said it's amazing how the Bears have become the biggest story in sports like the past 3 weeks. It's incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Like you turn on First Take, Get Up, you turn on any national TV show, like it's will Justin Fields be the quarterback? Like it's incredible. And what they have at their disposal with that first overall pick, with a good player in Justin Fields, with the great prospect in Caleb Williams, with the ambiguity with the coaching staff, with all the money that they have, with more picks in the later rounds, like you are in for one of the most fascinating off seasons of the Chicago Bears, no matter how it shakes out. And it's going to be really interesting to see. The unfortunate thing is the Bears probably fucking up. They'll probably mess it up.
The important thing to remember is
it'll be fun.
Bears are the Bears, and they will always mess it up.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun to watch. We'll be here.
Will it be fun?
I don't know. We might have to retire if things go poorly. Like I don't know. Like if they draft if they somehow ruin Caleb Williams or something, like it can't be saved. The organization can't be saved. Like it's done. It fold the franchise. Like oh my God, you've taken like so many shots, and they found a way to ruin Justin Fields. So Sydney's in the chat. This is my homie. Her birthday is on Wednesday. I don't get why people want to have the QB fix and get a new one when that's not the issue. Spitting. Get more weapons in O-line first. Everything's an issue.
Everything's an issue.
not
Oh,
Justin Fields. Wait, can we
Depends
talk
on
about
who
how
you ask.
bad the O-line played today? Like, what the hell?
was
And let's
bad.
talk like actually,
Zippo time.
like actually this. How is it possible that like every time that like it doesn't matter what the situation is, they play their worst game of the season against the Packers? How is it possible? Like it just like statistically should not be possible that they just somehow get worse every time. Like they were a good football team. People were picking the Bears to win. I think 80% of the money line or spread bets were on the Chicago Bears. And they just fold every single time against Green Bay. I can't.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, it's like, week 1 of the season, you texted me, when are we folding this podcast? And now we're right back to it.
And let's go back to this too real quick. Kind of to this point. I love Justin Fields as a player because of Ohio State ties and whatnot. It is not in his best interest to be the quarterback of Chicago Bears.
No,
It's
100% not.
It's not. And that's not really a hot take, but it's like it's a sad realization for Bears fans that if he were to go to Atlanta, he becomes a better version of himself, most likely. If he were to go to Pittsburgh, he becomes unbelievable with Mike Tomlin. If he were to go to a slew of other
If you
organizations-
think that Justin Fields can't make George Pickens an all-pro, you're insane.
he almost made DJ Moore an all-pro, and DJ Moore's good, but like, yeah, like you give Mike Tomlin Justin Fields. Justin Fields is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL from day one. But yes, all right, let's cap it off here with like we went through this for an hour. What do we actually think is going to happen after we know everything, and what should the Bears do? Jake, we'll start with you. Lock it in here. Make a prediction. The people love predictions. What do you got?
I think at this time tomorrow, I think that Matt Eberflus will be the head coach. Justin Fields will be the starting quarterback temporarily.
Well, yeah, they're not going to cut him at 7 a.m. tomorrow.
Well, yeah. And I think
Tyson
that Luke
Bagent.
Getsy will be dismissed.
Okay. Fair enough.
Everything
Wait,
else
real
is-
quick. I didn't know Tyson Bagent was inactive. I was like,
yeah,
oh
that
my
was
God, he's gonna-
crazy.
I was like, he's
Nathan
gonna
Peterman
come
coming into that game
and
was
throw a touchdown.
malpractice.
Oh my God. Well, Fields had to like, can the guy get a penalty? Can the guy get a
Yeah,
penalty?
that was
Like,
the
we're not gonna
latest
do
hit in the
this,
world.
But
Shout out to our friend Sean Sears, who quoted me. It was like the latest hit in the entire world ever
And
in the
no
history
penalty.
of existence.
he was
Nuts.
probably concussed. Like, I don't know what.
100%,
Like,
yeah.
like, dude, that head was banging. Like, that was not good. He got checked by the.
What are you sure you're still talking about football? What are you talking about?
Oh my God. Oh, dude, I don't. Put that glass of whiskey down, bro.
Yeah, you're right. You
But
wouldn't
they-
know. That's
But
crazy.
or pour another one at this point. You can't be saved, bro. You might as well stay drunk until the morning. Because I'm gonna be up
That is-
early. I'm gonna be up early. I don't typically get up early, but I will be up early.
I'll be up earlier than you.
tomorrow. No, I'm gonna be up at 6 a.m. tomorrow, bro. I gotta be locked in.
You want to make that bet? I'll book you right now on that money.
if you wanna place money on Wake It Up, it ain't that hard to just get up before you. So yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, okay. Guy who has famously missed a couple shifts because he was sick and overslept. Okay, buddy.
Missed a shift. When did I miss a shift? I didn't miss the entire shift. Overslept by like 2 minutes. I was like, I was a rookie. I was a
Okay,
rookie. Rookie
okay,
mistakes happen.
okay, okay.
I'll lock it in. I think I'm with you. I think Getsy gets fired tomorrow. I think they keep Eberflus. I already don't like what they're doing about the whole midweek thing and the whole meeting with the organization and stuff like that. That's already kind of making
Yeah, that
me
implies
a little
everybody's
upset.
safe.
It doesn't imply everybody's safe. It implies Eberflus is safe, and it implies they're not doing their due diligence on what could potentially be available to them in the offseason, if they're already assuming that. So I think they're gonna again dance around the Justin Fields thing. I hope ultimately they keep him. I don't think they will. I think it's obviously the smarter decision, but I'm not sure what's going to happen. It's going to be a fun offseason, but it'll be a fun day tomorrow. Actually, it won't be a fun day because working in this media space and having to hear about this shit for 8 hours a day is absolutely just the worst thing ever. And I hate the conversation. I hate the debate, but here we are. I chose this life. So, Jake, go to bed or take a nap or watch this Bills-Dolphins game. Maybe put that glass of whiskey down. I'm not sure. This also has to be a screenshot. This
Okay,
is
Mom.
phenomenal. This is great. Thanks, everybody in the
Do that.
chat. Sydney, Gary, Jacob Home, Fernando, my boy Joe, Antonio, Felton, Danny. I hope that's how you say that. P. Bodes, Scott C. from Iowa, David, Jerome. Y'all were great. Everybody was great today. Chat was popping. People were hopping
Thanks.
in, fired up. We'll be back sometime midweek when we
Once we
find
get
out
news.
actual news about the team. But yeah, man, good show.
Hey, if nothing else, we're here to let the people vent. So
Dude, That's why I'm here. Like, fuck my analysis. I needed to let some shit out. I don't. I wasn't gonna go to the gym at work. At this time, I had to come on the
Okay, let's not
podcast and-
disparage
Well-
the Odyssey Company gym.
I'm not despairing the Odyssey Company gym. I'm just saying I'm not gonna go there right now, and I don't have any
Oh,
other
yeah,
membership.
It's
So
closed anyway. So
I had to
closed
let out
anyway.
my anger in some way. So I went to this podcast, and this is what we do. I'm yapping, yap
That's what
yap
we're here
yap.
for. I do love to yap. That's facts. All right. Well, we did it. We did an hour plus of venting, and we hope everybody got something out of this. I hope I got something out of this. I don't know. Hard to say. I feel a little bit better. I feel like I let some things out. I think Kevin did too. And we'll see what happens. I think it speaks to the unique situation of the Bears that literally anything could happen in the next 24 hours. And nobody really knows. So I guess we'll all find out together. But until then, this has been Bears Nation Podcast. I am Jake Hassan. That's Kevin Lapka. Follow us at Bears Nation Pod on Instagram and Twitter. Follow me at Jake_HAS2 on Twitter. Follow him at KevCharles112. Something like that. Anyway, you'll figure it out. And we'll be here. And once some news breaks, whether that be the quarterback or the head coach or the organization as a whole, we'll be here. So stick around this offseason. Bears Nation Podcast is going to be your hub for definitely, totally reasonable takes about the Chicago Bears. So we'll see you. And until then, I have been Jake Hassan. That's been Kevin Lapka. Thank you for a wonderful season as always. And bear down.
Bear down.